Hello and welcome to the first Ask a Nutritionist, the series where I answer your burning questions about nutrition, health, and wellness. My name's Kathleen Love. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and I'm super excited. Let's just go ahead and hop into this week's question. If you see me glancing down below, it's because I've got notes. Try to keep me on track. So this week's question is there a food that people think is healthy but should actually be avoided? And my short answer is yes. I'm only going to touch on a few today. So the first one that we'll talk about is frequently when people change their lifestyle to say gluten-free or vegan or vegetarian, oftentimes they end up replacing their favorite processed goodies with a gluten-free version or a vegan version. And marketing companies are really smart, and with their packaging will lead you to believe that the gluten-free cookies are healthier than the non-gluten-free cookies, when in reality they are just as bad, if not worse. It's so important to always turn the packaging around, look at the label, look at the ingredients, and know what's in your food. On the topic of labels, we'll move into the next thing, which is anything that is labeled as fat-free or sugar-free. Seriously, just steer clear from this shit. So anytime a company needs to remove a main ingredient that is a main flavor source, right? Sugar, fat, yummy for our taste buds, they have to then compensate with other ingredients that are typically a whole lot worse for you. So in the case of sugar-free candies or treats, they're taking out the sugar and they're replacing it with artificial sweetener. And artificial sweetener is bad for your body on so many different levels. I'm only going to touch on a couple. The first one is that it messes with your satiation, so it actually makes you more hungry. And then the other thing is that a lot of them still alter your blood sugar. Your body is really intelligent. When it tastes something sweet, your brain is saying, oh, we're going to get glucose, let's get the body ready. And so you still have an increase in your insulin levels, even though there's no sugar in it. And then the last thing on the artificial sweetener is that a lot of them have actually been labeled as carcinogenic, meaning that they cause cancer, and that is frightening. So yeah, I would just avoid those. And then on fat-free products, right, you have your fat source, the flavor source. You take that out, what they're replacing it with is sugar. If you take a can of Pringles and a can of fat-free Pringles and you turn them around, I'm not one for counting calories, but I feel like it needs to be mentioned. Usually they have about 10% more calories and 40 to 50% more sugar, which is just like crazy. And just so you guys know, excess sugar does turn into fat. So it's not like eating the fat-free version so there's sugar, you know, you're not gonna gain weight from it, when in reality, those turn into triglycerides and store as fat. So the last food that people think, well, this is more of a drink, but the last thing that people think is healthy but should actually be avoided is juice. And that includes freshly pressed juice. I'm sorry, I've got a cat that's like in the background. He's an old man. I locked him outside. And this is like the 20th time I've filmed this because he is very insistent about meowing like an old man. So hopefully you guys, that doesn't bother you. That's what's going on. That's my life right now. So the last thing is juice, and that includes freshly pressed juice. And so the main thing is, so when you juice, right, you're removing the majority, if not all, of the fiber from the fruit or vegetable. And that fiber is really important for a lot of things, but in this case, for slowing the digestion and absorption of the sugars in the fruit and vegetable. So when you're only drinking the juice, you get a spike in your blood sugar because it absorbs really quickly. That sugar absorbs really quickly, your blood sugar spikes, and then inevitably, you know, you've got some excess insulin floating around in your bloodstream, and then you get a crash. And that's really stressful on the body. And then again, not one for counting calories, but needs to be mentioned. It's a lot easier to drink a large amount of calories than it would be to just eat the whole piece of fruit or vegetable, right? Like, because that fiber helps fill you up, you're gonna eat a lot less or consume a lot less versus drinking when it's all calorie and no fiber. I do think that quality fresh pressed juice that contains mostly vegetables can play a part in a healthy lifestyle. But overall, I would say that juice is one of those beverages that should be kept in a special occasion only category. So that's it for this week's Ask a Nutritionist. If you have any questions, please feel free to direct message me or comment. I will add it to the list, and I look forward to the next one. Have a great Wednesday, guys.